I am not gonna lie to you. When I first watched Nebraska's roster get tampered with, and some of their best guys who barely scratched the surface went off to other schools, I was really disappointed. Rule's game plan was to recruit from high school, develop the freak athletes who he would have for 3 or 4 seasons, then repeat that cycle like Saban was doing at Alabama for so many years. Now, today, that's all behind us because the portal and NIL changed everything. So, the only chance to win going forward is to lean into the modern strategy. Expect some losses, keep roster space open, and hit the transfer portal hard for guys that can make an immediate impact on day one. And on Sunday, they landed a difference maker. Dasan McCullough came for a visit yesterday, and he announced his commitment right after. He's 6'5", 235, and can play almost every position on defense. But at Nebraska, I'd expect he starts at jack, since that's probably where he's going to play in the NFL. If you go back to his freshman season at Indiana, he played as a pass-rushing outside linebacker and earned honorable mention all Big Ten. But after he transferred to Oklahoma, they used him as a hybrid safety/linebacker, and he didn't have the same impact. If Nebraska wanted to use him in that same spot, he'd replace Isaac Gifford at Rover, but I don't think he's fast enough to play that position. And again, going back to his stats, he's way tougher to defend as a pass rusher. And with Princeville off to Ole Miss, McCullough can come in right away and play with McGahee before he goes to the NFL. The talk these past few weeks has been around Nebraska's recruiting efforts in Kansas City, and he's the 5th player from there to sign with this class. Dasan's dad's a coach at Notre Dame right now, but a few years back, he was coaching with Dawson Merritt's dad on the Chiefs. You add up all the coaches and players Rule's brought in from that part of the country, and you start to realize how strategic he's been, going all the way back to July when he hired Jamar Mosey. Another position Rule had to reload at was safety, and with Justyn Rhett coming over from Georgia, it gives you a lot more confidence after losing Isaac Gifford and Deshaun Singleton. He spent the last 2 seasons at Georgia playing safety, but even though he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, he was only the 5th best DB they signed in that class. Georgia's one of the few schools in the country that's so elite, they'll always have NFL players signing on every season. So if you're not one of the best players in the country right away, you're going to end up a backup to a future superstar. And that's what happened to Rhett. Malachi Starks and KJ Bolden are both first-round safeties, so even though he was fighting for second string, he never had a chance to get on the field. Now at Nebraska, that won't be an issue because there's talent, but they've only seen one DB get drafted in the past 6 classes. Sierra Wright's the best player in the secondary right now, and he'll start at corner. But even with Buford, Bly, Hill, and Hartzog all back, I'd guess every spot's open for whoever stands out during fall camp. I think my biggest takeaway with both defenders they added is that they're either proven winners or proven playmakers. Rhett played at Bishop Gorman, who finished 3rd nationally his senior season. He spent the last 2 years at Georgia, where they only lost a total of 3 games and have extremely high expectations. MJ Sherman was in a similar situation. He came from Georgia after dealing with some injuries, and even though he couldn't get on the field there, he ended up starting 16 games in Lincoln and finished with 3.5 sacks his senior season. Now, McCullough's only played on one winning team since Indiana and OU struggled in 2 of his 3 years there, but he's a way more proven playmaker. We saw Sierra Wright come in and force fumbles, block kicks, bat passes away, and come down with interceptions. But Dasan's impact will be felt in a different way. He's fast for a linebacker and not only gets to the ball quick, he finishes the tackle. You watch clips of receivers or running backs trying to lead block, and he's either running straight through those guys or he's strong enough to take them on and still push through to make the tackle. It's hard to know exactly where they're going to use him since he's so flexible, but I think what makes Rule an attractive coach to play for is the NFL background, and I'd guess he wants to use his 1 year at Nebraska to boost his draft stock and get better at the position they're probably going to have him play in the pros. But no matter how it all plays out, I'm just glad they landed guys with huge upside, and hopefully they can land some more who can contribute right away. But I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comments below. Can Justyn Rhett break into the secondary rotation, or will Hartzog or Buford keep him out? Is Dasan a linebacker at Nebraska, or do you think they use him as a rover the same way OU did? And now that they added a couple guys on defense, what's the next position they've got to fill on that side of the ball? I still think a linebacker is important. I just don't know who's on their radar at this point. But that's all I've got for today. So until next time, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Go Big Red.